All right, Shalom. Before I begin, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. I'd like to say double honors to my teachers, the men whom I've learned this truth from, the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and also Shalom and salutations to the brothers out there of the hopeful elect that are preaching this word in truth and sincerity. Alright, so I'm the brother Shaquat from the branch of Great Millstone, Montreal, back with another in-transit lesson. And once again, the style of this lesson is going to be impromptu. Not much precepts are going to be coming out, but a lot of quotation, is going to be, a lot of scriptures are going to be quoted, right? So the inspiration of this lesson was inspired by a thought that I was meditating on, and that thought is when everything, when society collapses, right? Because that's something that we're fastly approaching, right? And we're seeing the signs everywhere pointing to the collapse of society in the Western world, man. Places like America and Canada and so on and so forth, right? Places that have not really witnessed a major societal collapse, right? But specifically America, so yeah, but when that time comes, right, which is spoken about a lot in the scriptures, right? But you have to have the eye salve, the spiritual eyes, to be able to see that, okay, what the scriptures is speaking about is actually something that's futuristic, right? Because some might equate what the Bible speaks about as things of ancient times, right? But no, man, there's biblical prophecies in the Bible that have not come to pass yet, right? And that are waiting to be fulfilled. And yes, there's even some in the Old Testament, right? For example, the destruction of America, that's all over the Old Testament. Like the books of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, Isaiah, the 14th chapter, Jeremiah 49, Ezekiel, I believe that's, what's that? Ezekiel 35, I believe that, but various, Jeremiah 50, various scriptures, in the Old Testament prophesy about the destruction of America. But once again, you have to be able to decipher whether it's speaking about a future event or something that's has already taken past in the past, something that already happened in the past, right? But sticking to the point being is that once society collapse, which is gonna happen very soon, the men that are gonna be most valuable are gonna be the men with strong spirits, man. The men with a resilient spirit, right? Not the men that have the most amount of money, or not the men that have the most amount of strength and combat skills, but the men that actually have a strong and resilient spirit, or in other words, a strong mind, a stable mind. That is what's going to consider somebody valuable and stable in that time, man, when society collapse, right? And those men are the men of the Lord, man, are the men that are in this truth, are the men that are in this ministry of Yahweh Shai, because that's what they're being prepared for, right? They're developing that mindset already. They're being put through trials and tribulations to basically strengthen those particular attributes about themselves, man. And by those attributes, I mean trusting in the Lord specifically, man. That relationship is being builded. That bond is being strengthened between the men of the Lord and the Lord, man. You know, because that's what it's all gonna trickle down to when all is said and done, man. When society is basically, through, man. When there's chaos everywhere, it's only gonna be you and the Lord and your relationship with Him, right? And nothing else, because it's gonna be up to the Lord to assist you, right? But once again, like I mentioned, there's men that are strengthening that bond, that relationship with the Lord right now, right? To where, hey, they're gonna fully trust in the Lord, and the Lord is gonna come through for them, right? And that's that stable mind that scriptures speak about in the book of Isaiah, right? Wisdom and knowledge being the stability of our times, and the strength of our salvation. The fear of the Lord is His treasure, right? So you get stability from fearing the Lord and trusting in Him, knowing that, okay, if I do what the Lord requires of me, which is to preach His word, He's gonna come through for me if I remain faithful, if I keep my trust in the Lord and not falter. The Lord is gonna come through for me when all hell break loose. The Lord will come through for me, right? And that's what it's all about. And it's not about you. You can't do it on your own, like I mentioned, right? It's not gonna be the amount of resources you have stocked up, or the amount of combat skills you acquired. No, that's all vain. That's all gonna be counted as nothing, man. That's gonna amount to nothing in the times to come, man. But what's actually gonna really matter is, once again, your relationship with the Lord Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai, man, because that's who it is that's gonna deliver you, man. Hey, so with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to say, call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach Kudash. Once again, double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. This was a quick lesson, but Lord willing, it was to the point and edifying. Until next time, Shalom.